The Celtics forward originally came into the NBA listed at 6'8". Upon entering the NBA in 2017, according to his head coach, he is now listed at 6'10".
What's up, guys? Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about Jayson Tatum. So I'm looking at a post from the Bleacher Report right now, and the reason a bunch of people DM'd it to me is because this guy grew 2 inches over a year. So he's in the NBA, and he went from he was listed as 6'8" last year, and now this year he is 6'10" apparently. And this guy is catching a lot of attention for growing another 2 inches in a year after already being in the after being in the NBA. So the comments, let's just dig through some of these. I mean, he is 19. He's still a growing boy. He's going to be 6'10" by 20. Just wait. Yes, the 2 inches are a huge difference. I highly don't believe that. He dunking on LeBron again. I always wondered why the crying, laughing face is like the default go-to. Like, surely no one actually is laughing. Like, think about you sitting at home writing this shit. Are you really like, no, you're just fucking chilling there and you don't even find it funny. Like, stop lying to us. Stop the cap. Incoming drug test, even though he's only 19. Okay, so here we go. Let's dig into this. He's 22. He's not 19. 22. My bad. Time flies. LOL. 22. 19. Why do so many people think he's 22? What the fuck? That's the joke. You tripping if you think the NBA cares enough to drug test their players. They do, though. A lot. LMFAO. Press F to doubt. Just look at it, bro. Not even just look it up, bro. Just look it, bro. That lazy. 22. There's a drug that can make you grow, question mark? It's called, yeah, it's called growth hormone. Your body produces it naturally, but it differs in people, so yeah. 22. His NBA career didn't start at 16, bro. So anyway, I swear Jayson Tatum has been 22 for 6 years now. Anyway, so as far as if this guy, you know, took GH or not, that is the speculation right now. So is there PEDs in the NBA? This is what I sort of like. Did this guy actually grow 2 inches? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, this is you know, there's some people are saying yes, some people are saying it was like incorrectly listed, some people are saying he actually grew. I don't fucking know the story, but at the least, is there GH use in the NBA? You know, at you know, from start of players' careers to the end, do you see significant, you know, like craniofacial changes and abnormalities that would be indicative of exogenous GH use chronically throughout their careers? Or, you know, growth of other things? And is there incentive to use it? Is it, you know, perhaps a really obvious go-to compound for the sport in question in terms of what would make the most sense and what has a very short detection time and what otherwise is a bioidentical hormone that is very difficult to detect because of its quick clearance rate? It sort of checks off all the boxes, dude. So this article from the same Bleacher Report, let's see, I tell everybody I've got the same genes as Giannis. I might have fucking said that wrong. Sorry if I did. Boston Celtics forward Jayson Tatum has at least one thing in common with reigning NBA MVP. I'm not even going to attempt this. Per The Athletics, J. King, Tatum used his offseason growth spurt as a point of comparison with the Milwaukee Bucks star. I tell everybody I've got the same genes as Giannis. Please tell me it's not fucking Gianni. I'm going to go Google this right now. How to pronounce Giannis. Let's see. His first name, meanwhile, is pronounced Giannis when referring to him in third person, or Yanni when speaking to him directly, as per C.com. Giannis. Okay, let's actually watch this YouTube video and see. Fucking advertisement. Get out of here. Come on, dude.
How to pronounce the name of Greek NBA professional basketball player for the Milwaukee Bucks, born in Greece to Nigerian parents.
Oh my God.
About pronouncing his name, simply Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis
Okay, Giannis. So yeah, I did indeed fuck that up, but it was not, could have been worse. So anyways, I tell everybody I've got these same genes as Giannis, he said. I'm still growing like 3 more inches and 30 more pounds. King noted Tatum has been, has grown 3/4 of an inch since being drafted in 2017, is now 6'7" and 5/8. So this was in 2019, a year ago, but will be rounded up to 6'8" on the Celtics official roster. So he was growing back then a year ago, and then moving forward to now, apparently he is 6'10". And people are, you know, having fun with his height and his growth spurt, apparently, according to radio.com. Jayson Tatum is officially listed at 6'8", but Celtics coach Brad Stevens has now said on multiple occasions he's actually 6'10", most recently on Saturday. A growing Tatum is great news for the Celtics and scary news for the rest of the NBA, as it would make him even harder to guard and allow him to better match up against true power forwards. So, if your growth plates have not yet fused, would using exogenous GH help you grow more? You know? Certainly possible, yes. Now, will NBA players use GH even in the absence of that, you know, vector, I guess, of that available kind of thing you can exploit? Like, obviously, once you get to, most of the guys in the NBA, their growth plates have already closed. So is there a benefit to using GH just as a performance enhancing aid? Yes, certainly, especially when it comes to the protecting your body, essentially. When it comes to the longevity of the sport, growth hormone is one of the most protective agents you can be using to kind of like armor yourself in the NBA when it comes to the type of sport and the kind of, demands of the, you know, activity, and kind of like what age you're going to be working up to still stay competitive in your career and avoid debilitating injuries. You know, GH is not something that's going to make you like way more fucking explosive. It's not going to enhance neurology significantly. It's not going to do really anything that is going to, be significantly performance enhancing. However, from an injury prevention standpoint, from a proactive longevity component, it is one of the more obvious go-to compounds in the NBA, especially with the fact that it is bioidentical and the clearance rate is so quick that it is very difficult to pick up. So keep in mind, in the UFC even, when Mirko Cro Cop admitted to using GH and they literally tested him for it after admitting it, they couldn't even find it in his test results. And this is USADA that was testing Cro Cop, not the NBA, which is a lot more lax, from what I can tell, at least in my opinion, than USADA is. USADA is, far more strict in their testing parameters than many of these professional sports organizations. So if Cro Cop literally admitting to GH and then he still gets by without getting tested positive, even after literally telling them essentially to look for it, what is the probability that the NBA, that has a much lower standard of testing than USADA and is randomly testing like far less often and has a lower standard of testing to begin with, which is far less comprehensive, is going to be finding this? Very, very low, in my opinion. Like, as far as actual suspensions for performance enhancing drugs in the NBA, like, they're very, very infrequent. Like last year, one notable one was Atlanta Hawks. John Collins was suspended for 25 games. And keep in mind, once you get suspended, like 25 games, it's not like your career's done. You just fucking chill for 25 games and then you're back. It's kind of shitty that you lose the 25 games, but it's like, for enhancing your entire career, and if you fuck up one time, it's not like you totally screwed yourself like with some of these other sports. So him in particular, what did he test positive for? It was GHRP2, which is a growth hormone releasing peptide that is stupid to use, in my opinion, in the NBA, because it is not bioidentical. Why would you use something that is synthetic while it does, stimulate the production of endogenous growth hormone? The compound in itself is synthetic in nature. So coming from an exogenous source, if it can be picked up on a test with far more reasonable ease, like, why the fuck would you use it instead of bioidentical GH? Like, that's, what I would ask. So for me, that seemed like just a bad move. Wilson Chandler tested positive for ipamorelin, which was another horrible move in my opinion. It's like, bioidentical GH, why the fuck are you not using that? DeAndre Ayton tested positive for a diuretic apparently. Let's see, in 2011, there was a collective bargaining agreement with the NBA, and they agreed they would implement blood testing for HGH because they, realized, and many people are starting to realize, this is a compound that is likely being leveraged quite heavily by the athletes. So in April 2015, it announced that testing would be implemented in the 15 to 16 season. During that time, 10 players were suspended by the league, with 5 of those testing positive for steroids, PEDs, or masking agents. But of those, a lot of them were for kind of like obvious fucking like standout compounds that stick out like a sore thumb, like Joachim Noah in March 2017. I believe he tested positive for a SARM. It was either ligandrol or ostarine, which are like so easy to pick up on a test. Jody Meeks, April 2018, and now in quick succession, Chandler, Ayton, and Collins. And this is an article from last year, by the way. So obviously, new things have unfolded since then, but that was like at the time the most, recent news or whatever. So as far as like how strict it actually is in the NBA, basically, players are subjected to 4 urine tests and 2 blood tests in the season. So, blood, what are you looking for? You're looking for endogenous hormone imbalances. You're looking for gonadotropins potentially. You're looking for elevated testosterone levels. You're looking for IGF-1 levels cranked through the fucking roof. You're looking, or if they're even looking for that. And then the urine tests are looking using gas chromatography of mass spectrometry to search for standard metabolites of synthetic agents. All the laundry list of anabolic steroids, SARMs, fertility compounds that might be used in a post-psychotherapy context, or ancillaries that would be used on cycle. Things of this nature that may assist in recovering from a cycle that you did prior to your test to get around it and then recover natural looking levels for your blood work and just for, regular getting back on your feet with good performance, because it's kind of hard to perform well when your testosterone levels are in the fucking shitter, obviously. So 2 urine tests. Sorry, it was not, did I say 4 urine tests? The league's anti-doping program can subject players to 4 urine tests and 2 blood tests in the season, alongside 2 urine tests and 1 blood test each offseason. Tests are scheduled and undertaken independently of the NBA and NBPA, with players having no prior warning they are being tested. Crucially, beyond this, additional tests can be undertaken with reasonable cause, meaning there is always the potential for a player to get caught. So anyways, that sounds pretty promising and all. However, the amount of testing is far less than the UFC, and the compounds to use in the NBA are a lot less problematic than in some of the other sporting leagues that you may want to get a performance enhancing advantage from. Like, you're not going to gain a whole lot by doing a fat cycle of test plus nandrolone in the NBA, obviously. So this is where, it sort of lines up perfectly for these guys that the injury preventative effects of growth hormone are essentially what would be the most sought after PED effect in this sport, in my opinion. Now, coincidentally, this is the same compound that, despite having testing implemented, is very, very difficult to actually detect. Like, despite the fact that they have a test, designed, it doesn't mean you're going to catch anybody when the clearance rate is so fucking quick that you could literally, if somebody showed up to randomly test you, unless they literally like strapped you down and extracted piss out of you like on the goddamn spot, what is the chance that you couldn't just skirt your way around it, And I'm talking about like actually strap you down, extract blood and piss simultaneously, and you had no way to dance around it. Like in the UFC, there's even like, you're given like, there's like a strike policy even. For the NBA, like, do you really think it's going to be more strict than that, where you can't like get around the shit? There's like people hiding under rings apparently in the UFC even. And maybe it's a bit different in the more recent years, but at the end of the day, when we have a handful of drug tests for the entirety of the year, and the main compound being deployed, likely, at least in my opinion, is a compound with a ridiculously quick clearance rate. And even if you were to get tested, it's bioidentical and can likely be manipulated significantly to fall within biological reference ranges and actual like endogenous normal looking levels. The likelihood of catching a lot of these guys, I think, is quite low. And I think GH use is probably pretty prevalent in the NBA. I'm not saying for certain. I'm just saying if I was an NBA player, that would probably be one of the main things I would be looking at as an obvious go-to for leveraging. And I don't know if this, kid who's, I guess he's like 22, he's not 19. If he's using GH, even if he was fully grown, using GH isn't going to really crank your height up once your plates are closed. Like I mentioned, when I was younger and I used, not a lot of GH, but enough that it was like, significant enough for bodybuilding endeavors, I grew about an inch, or like maybe like half, like 0.75 of an inch or something. Like I used to measure in at 6 feet, and now I measure in at 6'1". And that presumably is from my GH use, because I was definitely done growing by the time I started using GH. And then that was the only factor that had changed in any significant way that could have explained what had happened. But to grow like 2.5 inches or whatever he's done since like a couple of years ago, you know, that's probably not attributed solely, like, you know, it could be intertwined into it. Like, it's surely more, it definitely is a red flag, obviously, but I don't think it would be, even if it was, I don't think it would be exclusive to him. I think a lot of NBA players are probably using it not to try and get their height up, because they realize that it's not going to do that if they're not using it in their teens, but rather for the proactive injury prevention benefits, and kind of just like foolproofing their body into sort of like being a lot more durable, because that at the end of the day is one of the main things that matters in the NBA, is staying injury free and staying nimble and fucking ability to even perform. You know, the longer you're in the game, the better, and you're not going to get a whole lot out of driving like a fucking heavy duty anabolic while you're in the NBA, in my opinion. So the HGH is something that's going to be more looked at more, I don't know, heavily by the guys in there. And it's something that has a lot lower risk associated with its use than some of these traditional synthetic agents that are really easy to pick up and offer less of a bang for the buck in regards to the NBA. So that is my stance on it. I don't know for sure if he's on it, obviously, but that is just sort of my explanation around the justification for its use potentially, the difficulty in testing for it, the benefits and advantages it would have in the NBA, and the pros and cons of using it. Very, 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 you know, I think can outweigh the cons for many of these guys, given the lack of accuracy in the testing, lack of consistency in how often they're being tested, and the significant loophole, even if you were randomly tested, of how quick this shit clears out of your system. Like, you can literally be admittedly on it like Crow Cop, and he still wasn't even tested positive. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplates_moredates, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My TRT clinic, Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas I designed myself from scratch. My recommended blood test panels if you want to check out your hormone or health status in general and get any imbalances or deficiencies addressed, pointed out, get a personalized plan in motion designed for you, and anything else I'm associated with, video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.